All right, this ain't just a show. This is a platform. Veteran built, battle tested. Welcome to the Misfit Nation. Yeah! Mic in a room, built from boots on the ground. Now we breaking the rules. 2 vets, 1 leader, painting the sound. Turn scars into sermons, let them echo around. Artists with truth, musicians with fire. Actors backstage chasing something higher. Entrepreneurs bleeding just to get ahead. If you fought for your dream, yeah, you are what you said. If they told you no, if you still came back, if you fell to your knees but you stayed on track, this is your voice, this is your flame. Say it loud, remember the name. Salvation, just elevation. We rise again. From the fight to the end. We are the Misfit Nation. No damn labels, no damn cages. If you're still breathing, you belong. Turn it up. This is our song. Yeah. This is our song. Yeah. Veterans standing with ghosts in the chest. First responders running in while the world second guess. Gold star names carved deep in the soul. Your story ain't over, we carry the whole. Coaches teaching mindset, breaking the chains, turning Billy alive into owning the pain. Truth over polish, scars on display. If it's real, let it bleed. That's the misfit play. If it's heavy right now, and the dark feels close. If it's heavy right now, and the dark feels close. If it's heavy right now, and the dark feels close. It's Aubrey right now. We're the more than you know. 9888, don't walk alone. Veterans press 1, bring it home. Don't trade forever for tonight. You're still needed in this fight. We are the Misfit Nation, built from scars and dedication. We rise again. From the fight to the end. We are the Misfit Nation. Every voice is fabrication. From the silence to the scream, we're strong. Welcome home, you belong. You belong. You belong. Oh wait, you. Oh wait, you belong.
Woo! All right. Misfit Nation. Tonight, we don't ease into it. We go full throttle from the jump. The monsters are in our background. No warm-up laps, no coasting, no holding back. This is where the energy spikes, the fire ignites, and the crew hits top speed right now. Whatever kind of day you had, leave it in the rear view, because tonight's about momentum, power, and pushing past every limit that tried to slow you down. So buckle up, Buttercup, lock in, and get ready, because once this thing takes off, there's no stopping it. Misfit Nation, I need you loud. I need you fired up. I need you ready to roll, because here to take this night in overdrive, it's Steven, it's Jake, the ToosDay Crüe.
I'm Steven.
Good.
That's Jake.
I'm Jake.
What up,
Good
everybody?
evening, Steven. How you doing this evening?
I'm good. How about you?
I am good. Just back from a refreshing trip to southeastern Oklahoma, or central somewhere. But anyway, had a good time down there visiting family. A nice, relaxing week off.
Fantastic.
How about you? How's it been?
Oh, it's good. You know, yeah, I started in a new store like 6 months ago, and then now tomorrow I started in another new store. They just picked me up and said, "Okay, we're moving you again," because I had a problem in the store, so they're going to throw me into a problem.
The problem solver.
Yeah, you go head first, bang heads, move on. It's really good.
Challenge accepted.
Exactly. Challenge accepted.
That's right. That's right. Well, maybe after this, it's like, hey, why don't you just give me 5 stories?
Eventually, that's what's going to happen. That's what the guy I was working with in my store, before I leave tomorrow, he said, this will probably be the last story you don't get. So hopefully, bigger and better things soon. But yeah, you got to go in, got to clean up, and do what I got to do. So I'm happy.
That's right. That's
Another
right.
fresh start. I'm not afraid to back down. I said, can you do this? Yeah, sure, no problem.
All right. All right. Well, hey, speaking of doing what we got to do, why don't we start getting this guest in here? Because I'm kind of excited about this tonight. I'm excited about all of them, but I'm really excited about this one.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome back, ToosDay Crüe, where the conversations are real, the stories are raw, I say, and nothing is scripted. Tonight, we got a guest whose journey hits on everything we talk about here: war, transition, faith, building something bigger after the uniform comes off.
Yeah, this story is going to have some layers, folks. Our guest tonight is Terry Weaver. He's the United States Navy Corpsman. He deployed with the Marines to Iraq and Kuwait back in the early 2000s. That means he just wasn't in the fight. He was the one keeping people alive in the middle of it.
Yeah, after 5 years of active duty, Terry gets out. And like a lot of veterans, now it's time to figure out what's next. But instead of drifting, he builds. We're talking about getting his degree from Texas A&M, becoming a Pat Tillman Scholar, earning a master's in biblical studies, starting a nonprofit, writing multiple books, acting, producing, and directing films.
And now he's stepping into a whole different arena. His latest project, The Beast of Trinity, Texas. We've heard that before on this show. Isn't just a film. It's part of a bigger mission to tell stories that actually mean something.
Yes, it is. This is what we love about the show. It's not just about where you've been, it's about what you build after that.
So tonight we're going to talk about combat, faith, purpose, creativity, and what it takes to turn your life into something that impacts others.
All right, ToosDay Crüe, let's get into this. Terry Weaver, welcome to the ToosDay Crüe.
What's
How
up,
are you, sir?
guys? I'm fired up after that intro, so I appreciate
You like
that.
that?
And
Dang
the
it.
music, did you guys make that music yourself?
The producer.
That would be our producer.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, cannot take any credit for that.
That's having fun playing with the computer and AI. It gets everybody pumped for the show.
Yes. So, Terry, we gave just a little bit about you, not a whole lot. Why don't you just take some time, tell the Misfit Nation, you can start wherever you want to start, to how you got to this point right now.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I remember being a insecure, scared kid with no confidence in high school, and I was sitting on the quad of my high school, probably about 16 years old, and I see this military recruiter walking across the quad, and I was sitting there afraid and wondering if people were looking at me, and this guy comes marching across the quad, and he's proud and his chest is stuck out, and he had his military bearing about him. And I thought to myself, man, that's what I want to do with my life. And so I moved to join in the military. There was it was between the Navy and the Air Force, and the Navy guy was way more motivated. So I like motivated people. So I joined the Navy. I got the MOS that I wanted. I served with the Marines pretty much the whole time. We did a deployment to Iraq. And when I got out, I will correct my bio, I did fumble in life for probably about 6 years. I mean, I was a mess. I didn't know what to do with myself. I got into alcohol and partying, and I was just a mess. And I almost lost my marriage. And at that point, I threw my hands up because I couldn't figure things out on my own, and turned my life over to God. And that's when I started to rebuild. This was about 13, 14 years ago now. So and that wasn't until I was about 31 years old. So pretty late. But God can do a lot in a little bit of time. So he's done a lot with me.
Fantastic.
Yes, that's an amazing story, and I can understand after getting out and doing all the partying and while I was still in, and yeah, trust me, it's a bad way to go.
I guess what I didn't realize, and I don't think a lot of veterans realize, is the mission that we're on when we're in the military. We're a part of something way bigger than ourselves, and we're living on purpose. And when we get out, that falls away, and we don't understand what's happening. We don't understand that we used to be on mission, and there's something missing. So I didn't have a purpose to wake up for every day, and I didn't have a big mission to go out and fight for. And what I realized is you have to create your own mission after your service ends. So,
yeah, you do. You got to find your purpose.
That's right.
Got to find your purpose. And first of all, I want to congratulate you for not for being able to hold your marriage together. That says a lot right there. I threw two under the bus, and now I'm on. I finally. This one here is going to work because I've got a good, strong woman, and she smacks me in the head whenever I need it, and that's kind of what I need every now and then.
Yeah, I heard a quote from Andrew Carnegie. This is an old Andrew Carnegie quote. He said, "Behind every good man is an even better woman," and I believe that for myself, and I believe that for a lot of good men out there.
Not a truer words were ever spoken. So, what's been up? What do you got your movie, The Beast of Trinity, Texas. I have not seen the movie, and we have actually interviewed two people who were involved with the movie.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Was one of them Dean Davidson?
I think that's who Rich interviewed a couple weeks ago.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
It was Dean Davidson, and the other one was, and we interviewed this guy a long time ago. He was your set artist.
Oh, Tim Colomer.
Yes.
Yeah, another great guy, a former Marine or Marine.
Yeah,
whatever you want. Yeah, incredible dude.
And I've got some of his artwork hanging here in the house. So
awesome. You're an EOD guy, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I really like Tim. He's a good one. We had over 40 veterans involved in The Beast of Trinity, Texas. I was intentional about getting as many veterans involved, even if they were just playing extras. But both Tim and Dean played some really cool roles in the movie. So you'll have to check them out. Now you know 3 people in the movie.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to take time out and watch it because from what I heard, it's good. So
I think you'll have fun with it.
Yeah, and it's kind of a story that it's kind of my genre. That's the kind of stuff I like.
Good.
So moving on with that, you get out of the military. You had we can go chronologically, or since we're talking about the movie now, you had no film school education, no connections, and a $300,000 budget. How did you end up with a feature on Amazon Prime?
Well, I think me and my partner had the military mindset. When they go tell you to do something in the military, you don't always have instructions. They just tell you, hey, here's your mission, get it done. And you have to go figure it out, right? Oftentimes that's how it is. And we just had that same mindset. We were going to figure it out. There's a good quote by Robert Rodriguez. He's another Texas filmmaker. He says, I'll figure it out when I get to the end, you know? So a common mistake that creative people make, whatever they do, you know, and people in life in general, is they want to have everything figured out before they start, but that's just not the way it works. Things are way too complex. So we just did the next thing that we could do in the film process. So it started out with a script, then it started out with some initial casting, then some fundraising. We held big marketing events, and just piece by piece, we started looking for locations. Now, since I've done my first movie, I've learned that there's a right way to do things, but we had to just kind of fumble our way through this thing. And we just got real scrappy. We recruited a lot of veterans. One of our other producers was a veteran. Our assistant director was a veteran. And you know how it is, man. When you get around veterans who served, you just join in and you do anything that it takes to complete the mission. So we lost our actor who was playing the Beast, like, I think 3 or 4 weeks before we were supposed to start, this big guy. And we made this costume for him specifically. We scanned his face, and we had him all measured out. And we built this. It was almost a $10,000 costume for this actor, and he had to drop out for a couple different reasons. And my good friend Dennis Johnson, who I recruited to come out here and help me produce this movie. This guy's he's a Navy veteran, but I grew up with this guy. I knew I could trust him. I looked at Dennis and I said, man, you'll fill out that costume. I need you to play the Beast. So with, 3 weeks notice, we started retrofitting the costume to fit him and getting him in it and doing fittings. And so film projects are crazy, and there's a lot of unknowns, but the way we handle it was kind of like, you get on mission with people you trust and you can pretty much do anything you want. So that's kind of how we went about making a movie when we didn't know how to make a movie. Now, I did have a little experience because I've acted in other things and I've helped on the fundraising side of film. And, when you act, you're around the crew. You're seeing it happen. You're seeing the shots. You're seeing the audio. You're seeing it all. So you can pick up a lot of that. So, yeah. But I do think that this creative journey is worthwhile for veterans. I do think it can be an amazing mission. And since we both know Tim Collimer, we know he's an artist and he thrives in art. And for those of you who have never heard of Tim Collimer, he's a former EOD guy, explosive ordnance disposal guy in the Marines. And he does paintings of EOD soldiers and Marines, and they're really cool, but he does all kinds of cool paintings. This guy, he loves creating. And what's neat about creativity is you can have an idea and you can literally bring that idea to life. Mm-hmm. If you'll stay with it, if you'll hone your craft, if you'll get enough good people around you. And that's how we made this movie.
Cool deal. Yeah, I'm gonna have Tim paint a picture of my dog in a bomb suit. So
aren't those cool?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And this whole movie thing, right there, you was talking about some stuff that you had to do. That's you did one of the military mantras, right? That you improvise, adapt, and overcome. And, while I know it was probably stressful for you, it's dealing with stress like that is something that you were used to. It's something that you've done before. You've been under pressure. You've had time constraints on you. You've had to do more with less. And so, I'm not going to say it was easy for you, but I think that you were probably better prepared for it than somebody that just would have jumped in there and said, hey, I'm going to do this. And you never had to deal with that kind of stress.
I was battle tested, and I had a lot of people around me that were battle tested. And you can wake up in the morning, and when people aren't shooting at you or things aren't exploding around you, you got a lot to be grateful for. And so there's this little saying. It goes like this: our worries are much more numerous than our dangers. So we worry about things. We stress out about the future, and we travel back into our past and worry about the things that we did. But those are worries. Our actual dangers, they're very little. They're very little. So that's something good to keep in mind.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes, it is. Very true. I lost my train of thought. I was buffering there. Sorry, Stephen.
He does that. It's all right.
You was talking about the veterans that you had in the movie, and you said you had over 40 in there, with most of them with zero acting experience. What did that teach you about leadership?
Well, the whole film project. I mean, I would say veterans are the easiest to lead, right? They're used to being in leadership roles, but a lot of us are used to being in follower roles. So somebody, if I got around a veteran who I knew was in charge of a project, I would just jump in and be ready to follow. And that's what all these guys did. And they led by example. So, it wasn't tough to direct them. It wasn't tough to get them to work 10-hour days or, work in the heat. It's hot as hell in Texas. So we didn't have trouble with that because these guys were committed and they're used to working hard and they're used to following a leader. Now, I had some leadership experience before this film project. So I wrote a leadership book back in 2019. And these are all basic principles. You care for people. You care about the mission, but it starts with caring for people first. And you make sure they're doing good. And you make sure that they know that you care about them. And people go to the end of the earth for you if they know that you care about them. Doesn't matter if you're an extra on set. It doesn't matter if you are a production assistant or a BTS photographer or the lead actor. Everybody needs to know that they're important on a film set, just like any other workplace or job.
Yeah. I mean, Stephen, you can add to that. I mean, do the folks that work for you work better if they know that you care about them?
Yeah, it's funny, and I use it all the time. I would bring in, when I work Sundays, donuts, and I always said, you feed the kids are happy, the kids work, and it's the truest thing. Your little things that'll make them happy, they're a happy crew and they work. And when you work with them and not just say, go do this, go this, it's even better. You're part of the work. They see you out there, they see you doing it, and they're happier people.
Yeah, and just asking somebody how they're doing can do a lot. Mm-hmm. Most people don't care about how someone else is doing. I think about waiters and waitresses. They're order takers, and every time I go to a restaurant, I try to ask them how they're doing, right? And they totally come alive. They want to stay at your table because they're just being bossed around by everybody else, right?
Yes.
So just something as simple as asking somebody how they're doing today. That'll do miracles for you.
It will. It will. The guy that I work for, he's a pretty empathetic guy, and he frequently asks me how I'm doing, and that makes the guy feel good.
That's right.
He pats you on the head too, I'm sure.
Okay, so you get. So you got this movie, which is an amazing accomplishment in itself. But then, you went from battling alcoholism after your deployment to publishing 5 books. What made you jump off that alcoholism train? What made you give that? What was your turning point?
Well, the turning point was me. There's a saying, you don't hit your bottom until you lay down your shovel. That's an Alcoholics Anonymous saying. You don't reach your bottom until you stop digging. And it's all up to the person who's got the addiction, right? Like no one could have wanted it for me more than me. My wife found me passed out in our closet multiple times, and I tried to play it off like I just fell asleep. And it's a disease. It's a terrible disease. And I couldn't do it on my own. Mm-hmm. And one thing I know for sure is most people, or at least it's pretty common for especially men, I know I felt this way, to think asking for help is a weakness, but in fact, it's the exact opposite. It's actually a strength. So I had to lay my ego down and realize that if I didn't, I was going to destroy my marriage. And I took it to the very brink. And I couldn't figure it out on my own. I have a good friend who's struggling right now with alcoholism. And I called him the other day and I checked in on him, and he said, you know what? I just can't see myself going to Alcoholics Anonymous. And that's fine. But he's trying to figure it out on his own. He's reading books and he's, listening to things, and he's just killing himself because we need help. We need to ask help from other people. We need a community. And we can't ever grow without asking for help. We're getting help. We're getting community. So that was key for me. I had to put down my ego. I had to say, I can't do this on my own. And I had to look for help. My help initially was Alcoholics Anonymous, but I really surrendered my will to God. And man, when you stop drinking or stop doing destructive things, you have so much energy that you can use for good. So I just went after it, and it was a mission for me.
I remember when there was a time many years ago that I quit, and of course I kind of slipped back into things, but I'd wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and just have all kind of energy. And the guys that lived in the barracks, I had somebody beating on my door, said, "Don't you ever sleep?" It's like, yeah, dude, I can lay here and look at the ceiling, or I can get up and, vacuum my room or run the buffer on it, whatever. But yeah, it is amazing the amount of energy that you have.
Yeah. Yeah. For our veterans out there, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, at the end of the day, you have to want to stop. Like you said, you have to reach that bottom, and you have to say, I want to stop. Because if you don't want to stop, you're never going to stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
No matter what help you get, who you talk to, if you don't want to do it, it's not going to happen. You have to have that mindset that, okay, this needs to change.
That's right. Yeah. So I struggled with that for a long time, but once I surrendered and started asking for help and found a community and, started relying on God for some strength, and then things started to change, not overnight, but with each day it gets a little bit easier. Now there's still temptation, and, you have a bad day, you want to go get wasted. I still do, but it's easier to say no. It's easier to keep going. There's a book called Wild at Heart, and it's a really good book. But there's a quote in the book that says, "Don't ask the world what it needs from you. Ask what makes you come alive, and then go out and do that, because the world needs people who've come alive." And that's all about our passion, like finding our passion. What brings you alive? So if there's veterans out there listening, if you're struggling, if you feel like you don't have purpose anymore, what brings you alive? Start testing new things. And I would encourage you to try creating things. I don't care if it's playing a song or working on a chapter of a book or coloring or dancing, like creating something. It's incredible. It's incredible what it can do for us.
I was wondering, you wrote books. What made you decide to make movies from writing books?
Yeah. So I wrote my first book back in 2019, and it was a self-help leadership book. And I took a lot of my military lessons and packaged them into that book. And then I got cast as an actor in a TV series, and I'd never had real acting experience before. So I started to develop a backstory. I started writing a backstory, and I loved writing this backstory so much, I turned it into a novel. So that happened 2 more times. So I have a novel series of 3 books and then 2 self-help books. And as I was continuing to act in TV and film, I just got to a point where I thought, man, I can do a good job doing this. I've developed my writing skills. I've been on set enough. I do believe I can bring a movie to life, and I can probably do it better than most people. And not to sound arrogant, there's confidence and there's arrogance, but I looked at what was being produced in Texas. I looked at the stories that were being made, and I wasn't happy. So I went out and made my own movie. That's how a lot of new things start.
Yes, it does. You're going to be the next Taylor Sheridan?
I don't know about that. I mean, that guy's impressive. I think Taylor Sheridan probably has an army of writers behind him.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
But he's remarkable, no doubt.
Hey, you know what? If you're going to dream and set goals, dream big and set high goals.
That's it. I believe it, man. I'm already working on my next one, so I'm with you.
Awesome.
But
awesome.
I will say, like, there's, a lot of people get stuck in comparison mode. So, I'd like to learn from a lot of people. I think Taylor Sheridan has some great stuff, but I never want to compare myself to anyone. I just want to do my very best every single day and live in day-tight compartments and do my best every day.
Yes. Tell you what, that's a great way to be. Be your best self every day, and get out there and do it. And speaking of that, what's up, Tim?
Timmy's on here. What is up? He's everywhere.
Well, I messaged him. I said, "Hey, FYI, Terry Weaver's going to be on the show tonight." He was like, nice. "Whoa, what?"
Talk about a good dude.
Yes. So, you was, you talk about comparisons, and, this next question, you have described yourself as a Robert Rodriguez style guerrilla filmmaker. And I'm sure there's folks out there that don't know what that means. So what does it actually mean to make a movie? And you kind of touched on it before, but if you kind of want to go a little deeper into it.
I'll tell you exactly what that means.
With no resources.
Yeah. So I don't recommend it because it's very stressful. But let me give you a snapshot of why it was so stressful for me. But let me tell you first about this Robert Rodriguez thing. He's a great filmmaker. He's impressed people for many years. He's brilliant. But he wrote a book when he started making movies early on. It's called Rebel Without a Crew by Robert Rodriguez. And basically what he did is he kept a journal for his first film, and he wrote every single day about the challenges and what he was doing. This guy did his own video work. He did his own directing. He did his own audio work. He did everything himself, and he made a movie for $7,000. Well, he took it out to Hollywood, and it got purchased for $250,000. So he wrote all that down. And when me and my partner got together, we started working on this movie. I told him, "Hey, you need to read this book because it's inspiring." It inspired me. It's inspired millions of filmmakers. Mm-hmm. And we got to a point where we didn't know what we were going to do. We just had this saying, well, we'll go full Rodriguez on it, which means we'll do it ourselves. Right.
Okay.
So if we couldn't figure out something, our last resort was just do it ourselves. I mean, at one point we were going to hold the camera, but thank God that didn't happen because we got an incredible DP. For me, it got very stressful because I had about, so let me tell you a very concise story about this filmmaking project. I was at church one day. My pastor came up to me and he said, "Hey, Terry, you're still acting." And I said, "Well, I actually started my own film project." And he said, "Oh, really? Well, let me pray for you." And I was a little reluctant because here I am making this beast movie that has some pretty racy language and some graphic stuff and violence, but I wasn't going to argue with him. So he prayed for me. Fast forward about a year. I was 5 weeks before filming. We'd cast over 50 people, and my partner dropped out on me because it got so stressful. So there I was. I didn't have the money at this point. I'd raised about $50,000. We needed 250 more. So here I was 5 or 6 weeks before film date, 50 actors cast. We had all of our locations. The sheriff of Trinity County gave me badges and uniforms to borrow. They got us trucks. They got us decals. I mean, the pressure was on. And I went down to visit a good friend of mine, and I told him what was going on. I told him I lost my director, and he looked me in the eyes and he said, "Terry, I can see the stress in your eyes." Now, I didn't even know you could see stress in eyes, but I believed him. And I told him about everything that happened, and I'll make it a short story. Here's what he told me. This is the truth. He said, "I think Jesus wants me to help you make this movie." That's what he told me. Now, this isn't some like religious guy. This is a rock star. This guy's like a rock star. He's a business owner. He's gone to more Rob Zombie concerts than anybody on earth. This guy's a rock star. And that's what he told me. And I was just blown away. And he funded the rest of the movie. So, yeah, making a movie's very stressful. My journey was stressful, but we pulled the first one off and it turned out really good. And if you get a lot of good people around you, you can do impressive things. I don't care if it's a movie. I don't care if it's, you can do whatever you want. If you get good people around you and you cast a big vision and they believe you care about them, man, they'll go to war for you. And that's what happened.
That's an amazing thing. Yep.
Yeah, that's, and you know, just for somebody just to walk up and just to say that, you know, Jesus told me that I'm supposed to help you make this movie, and that's amazing.
It is amazing.
Now, I got kind of a simple question. I could look this up on Google, but I won't, because there might be some people out there that have the same question as I do. There's a couple movie terms that I would like you to.
I'll do it if I can.
Okay. Best boy.
Yeah.
And key grip.
Yeah. Yeah. So key grip is the guy that assists with all the grip that goes into lighting. So there's C-stands and grip that hold lighting and flags, and they're a workhorse in the electrical department. And best boy is like a couple rungs below that. So I got a funny story.
Go ahead.
I got a buddy. We'll just call him Jethro Bodine. He has a bunch of names. Do you guys know Jethro Bodine?
Oh yeah. He was my cousin.
Okay. Well, this guy's one of the funniest dudes I've ever known. In fact, he's the reason we have a Beast movie. We were driving out to Mountain View, Arkansas, and we were passing through Hope, which is kind of the turnoff to go to Fouke. Have you guys heard of Fouke, Arkansas? That's ground zero for the legend of Boggy Creek, which is kind of when all the Bigfoot lore started back in the 70s. And he starts telling me his Bigfoot story. And I look at him like, this guy is nuts, because I could tell he actually believed it. And he said, I have a Bigfoot story. Now, I've met a lot of people that tell me they've seen Bigfoot, but the real stories, you can tell when someone's telling you the truth. They believe they've seen Bigfoot because their eyes get big and they start to sweat and they lean in. And some of them get afraid when they start to recall this stuff. Anyway, this guy told me his story. He believes 100%. And I've always been a mystery guy, a murder mystery guy. And I decided that we were going to combine this Bigfoot lore, and he is nuts. Thanks, Tim. So we decided we're going to do this murder mystery meets Bigfoot, and that's how we came up with the Beast of Trinity, Texas. Now that sounds easy, but it took a while to write and get it right. So anyway, he's watching a movie one day. He calls me out of the blue. He's like, "Hey, I know the role that I want in the movie." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, what is it?" He said, "At the very bottom of the credits, there's this guy named Best Boy." So ever since then, Jethro Bodine has been known as Best Boy. And he did a lot of work on the film. He drove us to Marfa, Texas to film a flashback scene. Guy's incredible. He's nuts, but he's incredible. He's actually brilliant.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we know a guy that really, really, really believes in Bigfoot. And I'm not saying I'm not a believer, I've just never seen any proof. So, but yeah, yeah.
I have a friend that became a minister, and his ministry is the Church of Bigfoot. So,
Is it really? Is there a Church of Bigfoot?
and no, but that's what he calls it. The fact that he went
Okay.
online and can marry people, calls it the Church, the Ministry of Bigfoot.
Okay. Interesting.
People do believe in Bigfoot. They're all
Yeah.
excited about it.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Yeah,
people
and-
up around you. There's people up around you, Stephen, that believe in the Jersey Devil.
That is a true thing, though.
Yeah, and I've interviewed amazing people who believe in Bigfoot, and I can tell they believe what they saw. So, and Pruitt's one of them. I mean, Jethro Bodine / Best Boy. He's got a lot of names.
Best boy.
And like I say, I'm not discounting any of it. It's just I call me a doubting Thomas. I've never seen it, so I really can't attest to any of it.
Yeah, I think this trip was back in 2017 or 2018 when he first started talking about Bigfoot. So, and we released the movie at the end of last year, so late 2025. So it took that long for me to start buying into this, you know.
But that he sounds like a cool dude.
He is a good guy. He's a cool dude for sure.
Now you also
Oh, sorry, Jake.
go ahead, Stephen. Go ahead.
I was going to say we have a couple questions coming in. One of them is for Jake and I, and we'll answer that real quick. Then I have one for you. Okay.
Sounds great.
All right. One for us. At B Cups, still movies. Love that. Crew, how awesome was it for Gibbs to take his mom to Victory Lane in the wind in a car with him Sunday? That was fantastic. The kid won the race, his first big race, and he put mom in the car. I thought that was just fantastic.
Because speaking for everybody, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your mama. And
Exactly.
yes, that was cool. That was very cool.
All right, Terry. Now here's one for you. At Fly South Now 35 wants to know, Terry, what was the hardest moment you faced while serving as a corpsman in Iraq? Thank you for that question, Fly South.
Well, I'll tell you this. Let me tell you a quick story. It was toward the end of our deployment in Iraq, and I was walking to like a base exchange. And somehow, I can't remember how, but I found out how much money I'd saved up after being in Iraq for close to 7 months. And it was $13,000. And I remember seeing that amount of money and thinking to myself, I would give every dollar in my bank account to be home for one day, because I hadn't felt freedom in 7 months. So there's so much that we take for granted as Americans. And I'm not saying everybody, but until you've lost your freedom, like I had, we were being told every move to make. We were in a hostile environment. We didn't know if we'd make it home. You appreciate freedom so much more. And I had a young daughter at home, and I didn't know if I'd ever see her again. And I had a life back home. So I think, just being in constant fear and being in a war zone and not knowing if you're going to make it back to your family like that's very tough. So I don't know if there was one moment, but that's a story that I'll never forget. Just I'd give it all away for one day back home.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Another
One of our
question.
great listeners, Nina, wants to know, would you use your military experience to make a war-type movie?
Hey, Nina. So the Beast of Trinity, Texas actually has like a huge military theme in it. So in fact, the lead character is a former Navy corpsman, and we do a flashback scene to Afghanistan-ish. So anyway, I say that because it is a movie about what happens when you come back from war. And so it's neat how we wrapped all that in there. But to answer your question directly, I would make more movies I love writing stories about veterans and military people. My next story, the next movie I'm making, is about a retired Texas Ranger. So, but I would do it again.
And her follow-up to that was also growing up who inspired you to be the director you are today.
You know, I'm not sure if I had an inspiration. So I really found out how powerful stories were while I was in Iraq. I had a good friend of mine named Kyle, but we nicknamed him the Squirrel because he would just go around and grab gear. If he lost his, he would go grab your, e-tool or your sleeping bag, and he would stash it in his gear. Like he was stashing acorns or something. So we started calling this guy Kyle the Squirrel. And the name stuck right away because he did it to everybody. Anyway, he was the funniest human being. He's still the funniest human being I know. When things hit the fan out there, we would take our cots outside of our general purpose tents, these big tents full of military guys. We'd take our cots outside, we'd string up our mosquito netting, and he would tell us funny stories. And we would laugh our butts off. And we would fall asleep laughing under the Iraq stars because of his hilarity. And that, like in retrospect, that taught me how powerful stories are. They can completely remove you from your current circumstances. And people need an escape. They need a good escape. And so I used to escape through booze. Now I make movies and escape through writing stories and telling stories.
That's awesome. That's awesome that you can find that release and that purpose and redirect that negative energy into positive energy.
Yeah, agreed. Thank you for those great questions.
Oh, we have more coming in.
Oh,
More coming as we're going. At the Nason Bulaka, I hope I didn't ruin that. Who are you with in Iraq?
I was with Maintenance Battalion. So Maintenance Battalion with 1st FSSG. Yeah. Now, if you ask me where I was, I couldn't tell you exactly. I know we went to Camp Viper. We follow around division, but I will tell you this, and I'll tell you a quick story. I was such a nut out there. It was so extreme. I kind of made a decision that I'm going to live my absolute fullest while I was in Iraq because I didn't know if I would make it home. So I was just going to kind of go all out. That's kind of the person I am, 100% in or 100% out. And I found out we weren't going to go to Baghdad while we were there, my unit. So a buddy of mine, his unit was going, and he'd already been, another corpsman, and he said, "Hey, I'll watch your unit. You sneak off with my unit, go check it out," because I wanted to see the real stuff. And so I did. And when I came home, our Marine lieutenant got a hold of me, or captain, sorry, our Marine captain got a hold of me, and he gave me the biggest ass chewing ever. And I played it off, and I came up with some elaborate story. And that's probably how I figured out that I could act, is because I gave him this elaborate story and he bought it. But Maintenance Battalion, 1st FSSG.
I went to EOD school with some guys out of 1st FSG. And
but that was a different war, Jake. That was like, career or something. So
was that
I'm sorry.
I'm not talking to you anymore.
Okay.
So, Terry.
Yes, sir.
Now, you also write a Substack, and you write on it to fellow dreamers, and the people who have created dream and keep telling themselves someday. What would you say to the person listening right now who's stuck in that place, who is stuck in someday?
Well, so here's something I also learned in Alcoholics Anonymous, but it's good for everyone. Okay. Oftentimes we fire up our time machine and we go visit the past and we visit all the mistakes we made, and it absolutely does us no good. And other times we get in our time machine and we visit the future, and all we do in the future is worry about what might happen. So using this analogy, what we need to do is pull the starter out of our time machine and never get back in it. So when I find myself visiting the past, worrying about all the mistakes that I made and dealing with all that shame back there, or traveling to the future and worrying about what might happen, I tell myself, Terry, get out of your time machine, because today is all we have. It's all that matters. And we have to be productive. We have to do something good with it. There's a Marine named Stephen Pressfield. He wrote the Gates of Fire, Tides of War. He also wrote a book called The War of Art. This guy's incredible. He's an amazing writer. He's probably in his late 70s now. Incredible writer. But he wrote a book called The War of Art, and it's remarkable. The way that he figured out this conundrum, like not knowing how to start, is he just started doing dishes one day. And he realized when he got done with the dishes that he had made progress, and that progress did something to him inside. And so what I do every morning, and what I would suggest to somebody that's stuck, is wake up every morning, do your routine. You drink your coffee. I read the Bible, and then I go straight into my creative pursuit, whether that's writing, developing a poster or artwork or something for the movie. And I do that the first thing. So I see progress, and humans need progress. They need growth, or they don't feel like they're worth anything. So forget about the past, forget about the future, focus on today, make progress every single day. I don't care if it's doing dishes. I don't care if it's doing dishes or writing a book. Make progress.
I was going to add to that. I was at a doctor's appointment with Mrs. Holland, and of course, they had magazines laying around the waiting room and everything. And I just for something to read, I picked one up, was looking through it, and it was kind of an advice column for women. But anyway, I was reading through it, and it was talking about, how women or people in general can, hey, I'm down, I'm blue all the time, and it said one thing to do is scour your sink.
Yeah.
And, do the dishes, scour the sink. And when you see that shiny sink, it's like, okay, I've done something productive, and that's something that you can check off your list. And yeah, you're right. Cleaning up the kitchen, doing the dishes, that does give you a sense of, it gives me a sense of progress. I like it. And yeah, that's good advice. That's good advice. I like that.
Oh, we got another question coming in.
All right.
Excuse me, Miss 34 wants to know, how did becoming a Pat Tillman Scholar impact your journey? Thank you for that question.
Yeah, thank you for asking about that. Pat Tillman was a remarkable human being. He played for ASU as a safety, and then he became a safety for the Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals. Mm-hmm. And when 9/11 happened, he left his NFL contract to go serve overseas, and he became an Army Ranger, and he got killed through fratricide. He was through friendly fire, and his family started a foundation in his name. And I was very fortunate that I was told by our admission or financial aid office that I should apply for this scholarship. So I applied for it, and I got it. I was very fortunate. It's a very hard scholarship to get. But what it did is it made me think about the people that have gone before me, and that maybe didn't get to go to college, or, that didn't come back from war. And I think about that often. And this guy he was brilliant. If you listen to some of the things that he said, he was operating on a different plane, not only athletically, but academically and philosophically. He's a brilliant human. And so being a part of that legacy and pushing myself while in college, because that I was proud of that scholarship. It's very important to me. So veterans and military spouses can apply to become Tillman Scholars. I highly encourage people to try to get that scholarship, because it's an amazing organization.
Yeah, and he was, and I think it says a lot about his family as well. They could have been bitter about all this, but to start that, to do something, to make something good out of his sacrifice was really amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're very good humans.
Yes, yes, they are.
So his brother gave up baseball to join him as well. So,
Yeah. Amazing family.
yes.
All the way around. He impacted people before he made a huge impact before ever going into the military. I've met his best friend Alex and his widow Marie, and they're just amazing people.
Now, we have one
Now,
more question. Oh,
okay.
sorry, Jake. Cutting you off
no,
again.
pop it in there.
Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Helen Back wants to know, what advice would you give to veterans trying to find purpose at the service? Thank you for that question, Helen Back.
Yeah, I wonder if Helen Back heard that quote that I shared earlier about finding what brings you alive and chasing that down. It goes like this: don't ask what the world needs of you, ask what brings you alive, and go out and do that, because the world needs people who are alive. So we have to dig down deep inside, and we have to figure out what brings us alive. For our friend Tim, art brings him alive, but I bet I could ask Lacey, what brings you alive? What are you passionate about?
I like my horses and
Okay.
riding them. That's
And
that
did that
and my
start
wife.
young? Did it start young?
No, I had ridden horses as a young. We had draft horses, but then when I met my wife, she had riding horses, and she showed me horses can be used for something other than pulling a plow. So,
Cagney, what brings you alive?
Waking up every day.
Any passions that enliven you?
No, it's just life in general.
Come on now. Toy cars and trucks, man.
Well, yeah, I have my Hess collection, but that's not something that just brings me out. It's everything. It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that led up to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would answer that question. You got to find out what brings you alive, and you got to search until you find it. Otherwise, life is pretty rough.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stop looking. And when you find it, pursue it with everything you got.
Yes, with everything. So, Terry, what's next on your journey, and what would you like to leave the audience with this evening?
Well, go out and watch The Beast of Trinity, Texas. You can get it on Apple TV. You can get it on Amazon. You can watch it on Tubi for free. It's a fun ride. I invested 2.5 years of my life into that movie, and we had over 200 people work on it. It's a massive, massive project. So I'm really excited about that story, and I'm excited about the stories that I continue to tell. But I'm getting ready to start another movie project called Texas Sins. It's a mystery thriller with a supernatural element. So I'm working on that next. Yeah,
it's right up my alley as well.
And before Jake starts talking again, I got another question for you. Sorry, Jake. I'm Groot. Y'all wants to know: have you reached out to veterans in California to collaborate on projects?
You know, I've got a couple friends who are vets out there that are working on things. It's interesting, these film projects. I mean, once you get a script, you really do hone in, and it almost becomes like a very local project, because you're developing that script in a local area. I do films a little bit different, so I don't do them in a traditional way. But to answer your question, I have worked with a couple of veterans. I do know other veteran filmmakers, but I'm not collaborating with any veteran filmmakers in California. I have family out there, so man, I love Texas, and I want to continue making Texas movies.
Right on. Well, Terry, just a few more things here. Got a few questions for you. First off, if anybody wants to contact you, wants to read your books, how do they get in touch with you?
I'm most active on Substack. So terryweaver.substack.com. And then I'm on Facebook also.
Okay.
So those two areas are the best, probably.
Cool.
All right. All right. And before I ask you next question, I will let you know if you need location in Western Kentucky, give me a holler.
I appreciate that.
I can hook you up with probably about 500 acres of woods and farmland and a few small towns around the area that would probably make nice locations.
Cool.
But
We get all new blazing saddles.
The squirrel made me promise that my funny friend, he made me promise the next movie has to be a comedy. So we're going to work on that. I can't.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. thebeastoftrinitytexas.com. You can find all the links to watch it there.
Okay. All right. All right.
Thanks for showing that.
That'll have to be my next day off project. Definitely gonna watch that. All right, Jake, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so now a tough question for you.
And I think he answered it already, but go ahead.
I think he did too, but he's going to reiterate it. What are 3 non-negotiables that you have to do every day, or your day is not complete?
Coffee. I do some reading. I would say I read scripture at least 5 days a week, just because it sets the foundation for me. And then I do something creative 5 days a week, if not more. So that's what brings me alive. So coffee every single day, scripture 5 days a week at least, set the foundation, and then something creative. So yeah, and make sure that my family knows that I love them and that I appreciate them. I'm so fortunate to have a healthy family. What was that, Cagney?
You had said earlier that, coffee, prayer, and writing, and how do you just set your mind? Okay, I'm going to start writing now. It's not something that just comes to you. You set a time and say, "This is what I'm going to do."
Yeah, so it's all a function of discipline. If you sit down and you open up that blank page, it's kind of scary, but if you stare at it long enough and you're determined enough, you can conquer it.
Okay. Yeah, it sounded like too easy before when you said it. I do this, and then I write, and I'm like, I can't concentrate on my name half the time, let alone sit down and just start writing things every day.
Now, do you leave plenty of space in the margins, or do you take up the whole page? Because when I write, I have to leave plenty of space in the margins to make my corrections and draw my arrows and flip things around. And
yeah, it depends on the format, but I get you.
Because I can now when you do that, do you sit down at a keyboard or do you write things out by hand?
No, I'm usually on a keyboard. I'm usually staring at my computer. Writing on Substack a lot, terryweaver.substack.com. I put out these little, what I call bits of wisdom, and it's just a little bit of philosophy. I usually open it with a quote, and then I kind of expound a little bit, and it's supposed to be about a minute and a half of wisdom that you can listen to or read, and it's those have been super helpful for people. It's just a little bit of encouragement. We need encouragement. We need it's just a way to plant seeds in people. I believe in the law of the harvest. If you plant enough good seeds, something's going to grow.
Yes, it will. And you never know which one of those seeds might save somebody's life.
That's right.
Well, Terry, this hour has swept by pretty quick. I hope it wasn't too painful for you.
No, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the questions, and thanks for.
And I tell you what, that movie has been on my list to watch. Now it's going to be on my list to watch this week. So I will definitely get a watch in there, and it sounds like it's going to be a fun time. And thank you for telling us about it, coming hanging out with us. And I just want to mention here real quick before we check out, I want to talk to everybody out there. Hey, if you're out there and you're feeling the darkness, there is help. Get on that telephone, dial 988. If you're a veteran, take option 1. Somebody will get on there and talk with you. Do not make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Please do not, because the world tomorrow will not be as beautiful without you in it. And we here at the Misfit Nation want you to be here. And if you don't want to call that number, contact us. Jake at themisfitnation.com, Steven at themisfitnation.com, or info at themisfitnation.com. And we will get back in touch with you. And we will help you any way that we can. And Steven?
Well, I don't think we say it enough. I want to thank everybody who listens and sends in the questions, because it's fantastic every week. All the different questions we get, whether it's for you and I or for the person we're interviewing. We have a lot of great people out there listening and throwing their questions at us, and I think that's fantastic.
Yes.
So thank you, everybody.
We have a bunch of faithful listeners, and we love each and every one of them, and I'm very appreciative. Well,
Terry, thank you for coming in tonight. It was a great chat.
Yes,
Jake,
great chat, Terry. Thank you very much.
Buffer for a second while I'm talking, Jeff.
I'm buffering.
Terry, thanks again for coming in. It was a great chat tonight. It was very inspirational, and I just enjoyed listening about your journey. I think it's great.
Thanks, Cagney. Appreciate you, buddy.
Have a good night, everybody. Mr. Nation, we'll see you next week. Jake?
Yeah. Oh, I can talk now.
You can talk now. Every time I try to talk, you jump in there. That's why I got to tell you the buffer.
I apologize. Terry, thank you very much. It was informative and inspiring. And I tell you what, my hat's off to you for doing what you did and continue to do. That's just amazing. Misfit Nation, we love you, and we will see you next week.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling, because we are Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.